Hey guys, I know that it's been a while, but welcome back to my channel. Gosh, I really left my YouTube channel behind in the dust, didn't I? Life has just been really busy lately. I've actually been focusing on my garden more than I have been my houseplants. But I'm here today to give you a full garden tour. So grab a snack. This is probably gonna be a long one. My garden is my ultimate baby right now. It's where I spend all of my free time. It's where I come as soon as my eyes open in the morning with a fresh cup of coffee. It's where I come after work to decompress and just take a load off from the day. This is like my safe space. I love being in the garden and I love tending to it. If you follow me on TikTok, you're probably super familiar with my garden already. That's where I post the most about my garden. I post all of my harvest videos there. But I don't think that I've ever done a proper tour, like a tour of all of my beds, all of the plants that I have planted in them and things like that. So I thought that would be fun. And I thought that YouTube was the perfect platform to do this. And I really do want to start posting more YouTube videos. Okay, let's get on with the tour. Okay, so as soon as you walk out of my side door of the kitchen, you see my noisy air conditioning unit and the start of the garden. So these first couple of beds are my sub pods. They're my worm farms. They are vermicomposters. And they're pretty neat because it's like a composter in a garden bed, so you can plant things around them. So here's the first one. These are some plants that I'm going to plant today. So my local gardening center was having a plant sale. They always have this super banging end of the summer plant sale where they sell things for like $1, $2 and things like that. Things that they're just trying to get rid of. So I bought some more sweet potatoes. I love growing sweet potatoes. I bought some more dill because my dill is going to flower. And these were only like $2 a piece. And I bought some more cilantro for the same reason. My cilantro is all gone to flower. And I got this yarrow because you cannot have enough yarrow. These flowers are so beautiful. The pollinators love them. Oh, you can't have too much yarrow. So I'm gonna plant that somewhere today. But behind all of that, I have some leeks here. This pepper is a St. Croix pepper. This pepper is a blot pepper. There is a Tobago pepper back there, but it's getting a little shaded by the other peppers and the tomatoes, so I don't know if that one's gonna amount to much, honestly. And then this one is an Ahi Crystal Pepper. I only set up this entire bed in like May, so these are my late bloomers. I planted these later than all the other ones, so that's why they're a little bit behind. But back here in the back, there's 3 tomato plants. The first one is Blue Beauty. That one's not started to set fruit yet, but it is flowering. The middle one is a black cherry. I absolutely love black cherry tomato plants. They are so prolific. Last year, my black cherry tomato was the last one to die out, basically. I was still harvesting black cherry tomatoes like late November. Like it actually survived our first frost, but the second one got it. It's starting to do a little something here. And this one over here is one that I grew last year as well. It's called Sartre-Loy. I don't know if I said that right. It's a French name, but it's a beautiful tomato. It has like this deep purple on top, and then the bottom will turn like a cream color when it's ripe. All beautiful tomatoes. I really need to get in there and do some pruning though. And then down here I have marjoram. This pepper is a paprika pepper. I can't remember if it's the sweet or hot one. This one's also paprika, and one of them's sweet and one of them is hot, and I can't remember which one. I guess we'll find out. And then this is an Ashe County pimento pepper. So excited. I love pimento cheese, so maybe I'll make some of that. And then another leek here. And then in the middle here, there's a grow bag. I've got a couple of mints in here. So I've got mojito mint, I've got mountain mint, and then I have lemon verbena. The mint is trying to flower on me, so I probably should pluck the flowers off. And then moving on over here, this is just a various herb bed. There's the sub pod in it as well, but other than that, I've got Thai basil here. This is stevia. There is some Greek oregano back here. This, of course, is lemon balm that I couldn't control. I couldn't harvest it fast enough and it all went to flower, so I just let it go to flower and just said whatever. But it's beautiful when it's in flower. I kind of love the big bush that it does, but it's highly invasive. It's gonna end up taking over this whole bed if I don't do something about it soon. I really need to cut it back. Beside the lemon balm, there is some St. John's wort back there, and then this big beautiful lemongrass. This is my first time growing lemongrass, and I love it so much, but I'm not sure how to use it. I need to Google how to use it and start cooking with it, because I absolutely love dishes that have lemongrass in them. I love the flavor, I love the plant. 10 out of 10, highly recommend growing lemongrass, but maybe figure out how to use it first. I just think it adds like a whole other vibe to a garden bed. It adds a different texture. I just think it's such a cool plant. Next to this bed, I have another 10-gallon grow bag here, and I've got a super sweet 100 cherry tomato planted in here. It's doing amazing. I love growing tomatoes in grow bags. I think they do great. They sometimes even do better in grow bags than they do in my raised beds, which is just crazy. But these are just starting to come in. There's a couple of ones that are ready to go. This is what the super sweet 100s look like. Moving on to this bed. This is a galvanized metal bed that I bought from Amazon a couple of years ago. It was like 50 bucks. Very cheap. I've had it, this is its second year now. It's doing great. In this bed I have planted purple Prince zinnia. I love these. These are so beautiful. Wait, let's look at this one that just opened up. So pretty. I love the vibrant like magenta color that these have, and it's just, I'm just kind of letting it like take over. I need to prune it so that it's not so wild, but. And then besides the zinnia, I have a couple of peppers planted in here. I think this one's lemon drop. I can't remember what this pepper is called, but it's the pepper that they make mole out of. It's a black pepper. I can't remember the name, but it's the pepper that makes mole. And then behind there is a Korean dark green pepper. And then this is a giant Marconi that's getting a late start, but it is starting to put out something. There's a purple rain tomato back there. It's a dwarf tomato. It's really good. And then over here I have 2 Roma tomatoes planted. These are determinates and they're just starting to all ripen at once. So I'm gonna be making lots of pastas, lots of salsas from these guys. And there's also another Thai basil here as well. So now we're kind of getting into the main part of the garden. So I'm gonna start over here first. So this bed over here is an in-ground no-dig bed that I made last year. So I've got some watermelon. You see the little, there's a little baby right there growing. Watermelon, there's this one right here is cantaloupe, and then over here I've got Chinese chives there. These are regular chives. This one's blooming. I love chive blooms so much, so pretty. There's a poor struggling zucchini back here. I don't think it's gonna make it. It's got powdery mildew pretty bad. I just planted these carrots right here for the fall. This was a clematis that was climbing up here, but it stopped flowering. I don't know why, but hopefully next year it'll be even better. Another squash over here. There's also another watermelon over here. You can see that baby right there. And there's also a pumpkin. It has powdery mildew pretty bad as well, but hopefully I'll at least get one pumpkin out of it. Here's one that's growing. Over here's another no-dig bed, but I planted mainly perennials in this bed this year. So I've got pineapple sage, there's some coreopsis back there. I just planted some comfrey roots. There's some fennel. It's just kind of like a melting pot of different things. There's some yarrow in there, dahlias. I think there's a calendula back there. So this is kind of like a perennial bed that I'm just gonna leave it to the elements and they'll come back year after year. This pineapple sage has grown a lot though. I planted this pineapple sage as like a tiny, tiny little seedling, and look at it. This area of my yard is a problem area. So we haven't finished mulching the yard. We have this whole half of the yard to still mulch. But there's mulch here because our yard is kind of at a slant, and we've been having flooding type rains the past couple of days. You can see the walkway is getting washed out here. That's because the rain, like our yard's at a slant, so the rain all comes down and brings the mulch all down here. So that's an issue that we're trying to resolve and figure out what we can do. But I plan on, in the fall, I plan on planting some azaleas here. This is a really shady corner, so I can't really grow any edibles here, but I plan on making like a shade garden with azaleas, hostas, things like that. We're gonna see what we can do. I've even thought about maybe having bees here in this corner. I don't know yet. I've always wanted to be a beekeeper, but I need to do some more research first because I'm not sure if that is enough space for them. I mean, I'm standing probably, I don't know, maybe 15 feet away from the corner of here, and I just don't know if that's enough space. Like, I don't want to be in their flight path or whatever. So I really want to figure out how to have bees at some point though. I would love to be a beekeeper. Okay, so coming back up to the start here, I'm going to go through the grow bags that I have lined up down here. So the first one is the most beautiful pepper in the world. Actually, I think this is the second most. I'll show you the most beautiful one later. This is the candy stripe pepper. So not only are the leaves like so beautifully variegated, so are the peppers. Like, how cool is this? Okay, maybe this is the most beautiful one. But yeah, this is a gorgeous plant. Not only are the peppers really tasty, these are sweet peppers, by the way. They don't have any heat at all, but they're really tasty, really sweet. So it's also ornamental. I love it. It's so beautiful. Since I know someone's gonna ask, I have all the grow bags hooked up with these wine bottle watering spikes. So basically it's just a terracotta, let me get a good view. Basically a terracotta watering spike that goes into the soil. You fill the wine bottle up with water, put it in the watering spike, and the terracotta will leach out water to the roots as needed. It's a great invention. I have them in all of the grow bags lined up here. Because since these plants are in containers and it's like 100 degrees out here, if I didn't have those, I would be watering them twice a day, and I just don't have the time for that. With the watering spikes, I probably only have to water them every 3 or 4 days. So the next pepper here, this is a cayenne. Putting out a ton of peppers, they're just not turning ripe yet, so can't wait for those. I love to make my own fresh cayenne pepper powder. This next one here is just a regular schmegular green bell pepper. Delicious. Over here we have a straight neck squash. It's kind of wilting a bit in the heat. Like I said, it's like 100 degrees out here right now. I don't even know why I'm out here, to be honest. It's just the only time that I have to film this video. But yeah, there's some squashes there that are about to come in. This here is an Ichiban type eggplant, so it makes like the long, slender Japanese eggplants. One of my favorite types of eggplant. And then this pepper here are the lunchbox orange peppers. So they turn a really beautiful orange color when they're ripe, and they're great snacking peppers. And right here I have my ground cherries. So these are really unique fruits. They come in these husks. They're related to tomato and tomatillos, and you just pop them out of the husk like that. And you eat them. This one's super small. It's really cute though. But they're really sweet, and they taste kind of like a pineapple and a tomato had a baby. They're delicious. They're so good to make like a sweet and spicy salsa with. And they're good to just eat fresh as a snack. Coming back to the front here in this 20-gallon grow bag, I have a lot of things going on. I planted some shiso, I planted a chocolate habanero pepper, I planted some chamomile, and I planted catnip. I don't know why I planted all of that in one grow bag. I don't know. It's kind of working though. It's beautiful. I'm just letting it do its thing. Before we get into the main part of the garden, I just want to show you these grow bags. Sorry about the noisy air conditioning unit, but I have tomatillos planted in this grow bag. So last year I had tomatillos planted in the bed, and I realized it was really hard when the tomatillos started to drop. I like couldn't get in there to grab them. So I wanted like an easier way to grow these, so I decided to grow them in the grow bag. That way when they fall and drop to the ground, they're gonna be easier to pick up like around them, I guess. But yeah, got my tomatillos here. They are just starting to put out some fruit. They're pretty behind my tomatillos last year. By this time last year, I had buckets and buckets of tomatillos. This year, it seems like these are getting a late start. I don't know if it's because of the grow bag, I don't know. But they're doing good now. And beside of the tomatillo, I have my little Cucamelon. So I planted this in a grow bag for similar reasons to the tomatillos, just accessibility, because I had these in a bed last year and they just grew crazy everywhere, just everywhere. I didn't like it. So I wanted to kind of isolate them this year, so that's what I did. Because as you can see, they're just like, they grow everywhere. They're even growing into the tomatillos, which I don't really mind. I think it's kind of cute. If you don't know what cucamelons are, they are kind of like a cross between a cucumber and a melon. Although they are neither cucumber nor melon, they are in the cucumber family, and they taste just like cucumbers. I use these exactly like I do cucumbers. I pickle them, I put them in salads, I just eat them fresh with like some ranch or something. But they're really fun to grow and to harvest, and especially if you have kids or something, this would be a really fun thing for them to grow and get excited about. Moving onward to the rest of the garden. It is so hot out here. I don't know. I may have to go in and take like a 15-minute break or something, get some water, because it's just like the sun is beating down right now. We've been having so much rain the past week, and we're expecting rain again tonight, and it was literally so overcast and so perfect when I stepped out here. and now it's just not. The second I stepped out here, the sun popped out and was like, oh, you're outside, cool, let me just make you have a heat stroke. Okay, so these two garden beds right here, they're the same type as the other bed over there, just a little bit longer. I think that one was a 4x3. These are 6x3s. Again, I got these from Amazon, super cheap. I think they were like maybe 60 bucks a piece, which at the time was honestly cheaper than building wooden ones. So I just went with the galvanized metal. I've loved them ever since. They're holding up great. I love them. Anyways, as you can see, these two beds are connected by this cattle panel trellis. The cattle panel trellis is a new addition this year. I'm loving it so much. I don't know if you guys remember last year, I had like a really flimsy trellis that connected the two. I tried to be frugal and I tried to make the trellis out of like fencing wire, and it just didn't hold up. It collapsed. As soon as the beans like started putting out fruit, it collapsed. In this first bed here, I've got 4 eggplants here. I've got a couple of different varieties. There's Black Beauty, there's Rosa Bianca, there's the Ichiban type again. Oh, I have 5 eggplants. There's this one too. This one is Chinese string, I think. I've got another variegated pepper plant here, but this one is called fish pepper instead of the candy cane. And this is a smaller pepper. It's still variegated, but it's a little bit smaller than the candy cane, and it's a hot pepper instead of a sweet pepper. I love putting these into like stir fries and stuff. Behind it, there's another chocolate habanero pepper back here. Then I have these 3 okra plants here. They're doing pretty well, putting out some okra. I love okra so much, and I love the flowers. There's Japanese beetles in there right now, but I love the okra flowers so much. This is the Clemson Spineless, because I'm actually allergic to other varieties of okra with the spines. They really irritate my skin, so this is the only variety I can really grow. But I like the fact that I don't have to worry about the spikiness either, so I prefer to grow this variety anyways. I've got some pansies under here that are dying off in the heat. So over here on this part of the trellis, I have melons. So the first one I have is a black diamond watermelon, which I kind of messed up with this because for some reason I thought that this was a miniature type of melon, so that's why I put it on the trellis. Turns out black diamond is like a huge variety of watermelon, so I don't know how that's gonna turn out. Hopefully the trellis can withstand it. It's a pretty sturdy trellis, but there's a lot of other melons growing on here too, so I don't know how that's gonna turn out. I'm gonna have to support it with pantyhose or something, maybe something stronger than pantyhose. I might have to crochet something or something, I don't know. Under here we've got an Ambrosia Cantaloupe popping up. This is a not miniature variety of cantaloupe, but mid-sized. I mean, it's not like a huge one or anything. I've got loads of Kajari Melons over here on the trellis. These are really beautiful. These are like miniature sized melons. They turn orange when they're ripe. I've actually never grown them before. My beautiful aunt sent me seeds for this because she grew it in her garden, I guess. And yeah, I've really enjoyed growing it so far. I can't wait to taste them, but it's really productive. I only have 1 plant that I planted, and there's probably 15 or so melons. Like there's another one there, another one here, there's one here, another one there. They're just all over the place. I have another watermelon here that is not doing so hot. As you can see, I think it's on its way out. I tried growing this variety last year. It also didn't do anything. It died, but this year at least I'm gonna get 1 watermelon off of it, so that's great. This variety of watermelon is a miniature variety. It is called, if you look up seeds for it, it's called Golden Midget. I don't like that name. I think it's derogatory. I think it's unnecessary. So I like to call it Golden Mini. But the cool thing about this watermelon is if you have watermelon ripening anxiety like me, like it's hard to know when a watermelon is fully ripe, this one has a built-in color indicator. So when it starts turning yellow like this means it's almost ripe, and as soon as this green goes away and it's fully yellow, I'll know that it's ripe and ready for the picking. Over here on the other side of the trellis, I've got most of my cucumbers. These guys I planted super early in the season, so they're kind of looking a bit tired now. They're kind of getting powdery mildew. They've got some pests. So they're just kind of on their way out. That's kind of what I do with cucumbers every year. I kind of just plant them. I leave them to the elements. And you know, by the time they die off, like late summer, I am so tired of them anyway, and I've already made so many pickles that I am never gonna eat enough of. So I'm not mad about it. And for my fall garden, I will probably plant peas in their place. Some of the varieties I've got on here, this one is called Natsu Fushinari. It's a really long variety. It's a Japanese variety as well. So this is about the size I would harvest it at. They're really good. I love these, and they're really prolific as well. Another variety I've got growing on here are these miniature whites. So this is a miniature variety of cucumber. It's white and it's also a pickling variety. So this is about the size I would harvest this at. It'll start turning yellow if it's getting too ripe. So this one I need to go ahead and grab. I've also got Armenian cucumbers on here. However, this one's, I don't know, it's doing some weird funky thing where it's growing in the shape of a J, a backwards J. And this is the only one that I have so far. Last year they grew a lot better, so I don't know what's going on with it this year. Like I said, they're kind of getting tired. And then of course we've got Boston pickling. You can't grow cucumbers without growing Boston picklings. This is like your typical pickling cucumber. It's very popular, very prolific, very easy to grow, and really delicious. I love making pickles out of these because they're always super crunchy. Like, this is my favorite variety to make pickles with. And honestly, this variety is the most unfazed by disease and pests. I mean, the plant does have powdery mildew at the bottom, but as you can see, they're still growing, still producing pretty well up there. And it's just totally unbothered. I mean, it will croak eventually because cucumbers have a pretty short lifespan anyways. Usually, I don't know, in my experience, I've never been able to grow a cucumber like from the spring to the first frost. They always like croak out eventually. A lot of people in my area will go for second rounds, like they'll plant a second round of cucumbers in July, and I'm not that person because, like I said, I'm so sick of cucumbers. I harvest probably 10 cucumbers a day right now. Like, I mean, there's 10 or 11 or so on there that I need to pick today, and I just harvested, I think I harvested 8 yesterday. I stayed up until midnight the other night making pickles. I have so many pickles in my cabinet. I don't need any more pickles, so I'm actually ready to pull these out soon and plant my peas. Okay, so coming around to the other side of this bed, I've got, you know, more cucumbers that have left the trellis and are trailing along the ground. I'm just kind of letting them do their thing at this point. But I've got some tomatoes along the back of here. So this first one is called Thornburn's Terracotta. It's either Thornburg or Thornburn, I can't remember. I think it's Thornburn's Terracotta. Beautiful tomatoes, delicious. There's a couple back here I need to grab, but they are this beautiful terracotta color. It kind of matches my nails, if you can see. Beautiful, and they're really delicious. This weirdo little tomato is called Borrentino or Pinocchio tomato. It has like this weird, I don't even know how to describe the shape of this tomato, to be honest. I don't know. This is my first time growing these, and I haven't tasted them yet. This plant honestly is not doing the best for me. It's just not. I have one down here that has totally cracked from all of the rain, and they don't look really good. They look like they've got like some weird spotting on them or something. I don't know. I don't know what my opinion is on these. I just think that they look really weird. There's another tomato back there. That one is called Ananas Noir. It's sitting behind Martha here. Martha is my pet garden spider. There's Martha, and like her sisters are somewhere in this bed. There's a lot of garden spiders in this bed. I just leave them alone though, because they eat a lot of pests for me. So, and then I've got this one here. This one is called Lemon Boy. It ripens to a beautiful lemon color, and they taste amazing. They're one of my favorite tomatoes. They're so fruity. Apart from that, I've got a marigold in here. There is a calendula in here, but this is starting to go to seed. This is starting to get really tired, so I think I'm just gonna let it go to seed, and I'm gonna collect seeds from it. So over in this bed, I have mainly tomatoes. I've got a couple of peppers and a lot of different flowers and herbs. Starting with this beautiful zinnia. I can't remember the variety of this, but it's one of my favorite colors. It's like this beautiful salmon color, and it's kind of growing out and just kind of going into the walkway, and I don't even care. I'll walk around you. I don't care. You're beautiful. We've got some marigolds in here. I've got this dahlia that is just starting to flower. Let's see if this one's prettier. Yeah. There's some cilantro here that's flowering and going to seed. First, I've got this tomato. This variety is called Mushroom Basket. It's really unique because I love the like ripples in it. I think it's so cool. And then moving on over here, there's Vintage Wine. It's like a variegated type of tomato, really pretty. And then over here, we've got one of the most beautiful tomatoes in the world, the Atomic Fusion. It's so pretty. Also, there's one of Martha's sisters. This one's a little underripe, but I'm just gonna pick it anyway just to show you. This is the Atomic Fusion tomato. It's honestly one of my favorites because it's so beautiful. It's like a kaleidoscope of colors. It's got green, it's got red, it's got orange. There's this beautiful purple blush here. Oh, I love these tomatoes. And they're really tasty as well. They just taste like regular tomatoes to me. We've got some thyme down here. Poor sage. I think this sage got root rot from all of the rain. It's just like wilting over, and I don't know. I think I'm probably just gonna pull it out. There's another one of Martha's sisters. There's borage here. Got another calendula here that is again going to seed. This is a sweet cream tomato. This is variegated basil. I don't know the like proper name of this. I bought this from my garden center. It was just labeled as pesto basil, which I know that's not the like proper name. I have no idea what the name is. I really want to find seeds from it. Here we've got the Russian sage. This draws a ton of pollinators. The bees flock to this baby, so that's why I planted it here with my tomatoes, so that I would have more bees come to it. We've got cinnamon basil right here. More marigolds. There were some tomatoes here, but they got wilt. This is a little pumpkin that I planted one time when I was just blacked out and planting seeds everywhere, and I forgot that I planted it here, but it's popping up. These little babies are little, what are they called, pansies that I had planted here that dropped a bunch of seeds, so hopefully in the fall we'll have some pretty pansies come up. This is lemon basil, my favorite basil as far as taste goes probably. I love just coming here and like rubbing my fingers on it and then smelling them. It smells so good. It's like so lemony. We've got some Blue Beauty tomatoes coming in. This tomato plant has had a little bit of a struggle. It's very spindly. I don't quite know what's wrong with it, but I'm just gonna get the tomatoes that I get from it. Down here, I've got a habanero. Habaneros are one of my absolute favorite peppers, so I have loads of habaneros planted. I think I have like 6 habanero plants. This one is just regular habanero, I think. Look at this orchid cream nasturtium down here, hiding down here, so pretty. Next to it, this is a hot banana pepper. These are like my favorite snacking peppers. I love to just like pick these and eat them fresh. Another one of Martha's sisters. Martha has a lot of sisters in this garden. She's got a lot of sisters. And I just, you know, I don't like them, but I respect them. And they help me. I just ignore them. It's fine. Got this tomato plant. This one is black strawberry. Got my dill plant that's going to flower, and then this marigold. I love marigolds so much. They're so beautiful. Marigolds are so underrated. I apologize in advance for how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to move on over here to this bed. So this is mainly a pepper bed. It's getting a little out of control, honestly. I need to get in here and do some pruning. There are about 6 or 7 different peppers planted in here. I've got Scotch bonnets here, shishitos over here. There's Tabasco back there. There's Cuban bell under here. And then if you see this big one that is kind of just like taking over everything, yes, this is all one pepper right here. It's like stemming from that plant right there, and it's just everywhere. This is the Mad Hatter. This is my first year growing this. I didn't know how prolific and widespread it grew, so I had no idea to like not plant it with everything else. So here's some advice. If you're growing Mad Hatter, maybe try planting it in a grow bag so that it has plenty of room to like spread out, because I had no idea. Under this Mad Hatter, I've got a bunch of pepperoncinis. I need to come in here and harvest these. I've waited a little bit too long, because you kind of want to harvest pepperoncinis, especially if you want to pickle them. You want to harvest them before they start to turn color. So I need to do that like today. I need to pickle these guys. I just love this marigold. It's called Strawberry Blonde. and I think it's probably my favorite variety of marigold. It's so pretty. Then next to that I've got some jalapenos, and then next to that I've got Sugar Rush Peach back here. In this grow bag sitting here I got this eggplant plant from a woman at the farmer's market. I'd never heard of it before. It's called the Thai frog eggplant, and apparently it puts off these tiny little eggplants like this, and you could just harvest them like this size, and you can like put them in soups or curries or whatever. I thought that was interesting, so I got it from that woman at the farmer's market. She was so cute. She was like this older lady. She had like her stand of like all of her heirloom vegetables that she'd grown from seed, and she was selling them, and like I'm such a sucker for that. I will give you all of my money. I'll give you all of my money. If I come across you and you have a stand of heirloom vegetables, consider me robbed. You've taken all my money. And then I have a random like another pepperoncini that I grew from seed that I just threw in here. And then on this cattle panel trellis, I have a couple of things. I have one grapevine on each side. I think they're Concord grape, if I'm not mistaken. But then I also threw in some beans to climb the trellis. So this is Chinese noodle bean. This is my first year growing this variety, and I'm so in love. I'm so in love with these. I will forever grow these in my garden. I think they're so cool. They've been super easy to grow. They're really pest resistant, and I just love their growth pattern. I love how the beans, if you can see, the beans like stick out from this stem. So the stem comes out and it sticks out, so you don't have to like go hunting for the beans. Like they're right there, like you can see them clear as day. And I love that because I don't like when I grow bush beans and you just have to like keep hunting and hunting for them, and you're scared that you'll miss one. And also these are really easy to just cut up and put in a stir fry. They're also really tasty. I mean, they just taste like regular beans. I have the red variety, and then I also have a green variety right there. And then I have some little grapes growing right here. And this here is my rhubarb plant. I have it planted in a 20-gallon grow bag. It's currently being attacked by Japanese beetles, but it's trying to keep itself together. So then over here in this other bed, more beans, another grapevine on this side, and then I've got a bunch of corn. So all of this corn is going to be coming out in the next few days because it's ready to harvest. And actually I think I've already harvested a lot of it actually, so yeah, I'm gonna have to take all of that out. I'm not sure what I'll plant here for the fall, maybe some kale or cauliflower or something. But I also want to show you this if you haven't noticed it yet. This is my Russian Mammoth sunflower. This thing is so massive. I tried to grow one of these last year and it did nothing. This year it's doing the most. These things can grow up to 14 feet tall, and I think it's there. It's either there or it's getting there. It's well on its way. It hasn't started forming its flower yet. Like every day I come out here and I'm like, oh, is it gonna start forming its flower? Nope, it just keeps getting taller. That's my pride and joy of the garden right there. You're my pride and joy. All right, so moving along, we've got the squash trellis over here, these two beds, but I'm gonna do this bed first. This bed was a new addition this year. It doesn't even have irrigation to it yet. I have to still hand water it. But on half of this bed, I've got my sweet potatoes here. If you didn't see my sweet potato harvest on TikTok, go check it out. I've harvested a couple of massive sweet potatoes from it already. They're going strong still, but yeah, so there's my sweet potatoes on this half. The other half, I have some peppers and some more tomatoes. So in here, I have another Ahi Crystal. There's some basil there. I don't know what this one is. I think I lost the tag to it, so I don't know what this pepper is. No idea. I've got some poblanos in here. I've got this Thai pepper. Okay, and then remember how I said I was gonna show you the most beautiful pepper in the world, or second most, and you're gonna have to decide for yourself. It's this one. This is called the Jigsaw Pepper, and it's so beautiful. So it's variegated, right? Just like the other one, but it's got purple in it. It's green, white, and purple. Tell me that is not the most beautiful ornamental pepper you've ever seen. And the peppers come in this dark purple as well. I haven't tried the peppers. This is my first year growing it. They're supposed to be like moderate heat, like not too hot, not too mild. but I'm so excited to try one. And then I have a row of tomatoes back here. So I have great white tomatoes. So this is a white variety of tomato. I have a variegated Roma tomato. This one's just a regular beefsteak variety that I accidentally topped. Like I accidentally cut the leading stem off. So I'm having to wait for it to put out some suckers so that I can let it keep growing, but whoops. And then these ones over here, these are called orange peach. I forgot to show you guys this cucumber that I have growing in a 10-gallon grow bag. This is a bush variety of cucumber. So if you live in like an apartment or somewhere that you're short on space and you want to grow cucumbers, this is a really good option for you. Get yourself a 10-gallon grow bag, fill it with some organic potting soil, get yourself a bush pickling variety of cucumber and a tomato trellis. And you can train the bush variety to kind of grow around the trellis. And these are called bush varieties because they don't grow very tall, so it'll stay contained within this tomato trellis. So there's an option for you if you're short on space but you want to grow cucumbers. This one is just starting to kind of put out some tiny little cukes. And then over here, this is my squash trellis. A couple of weeks ago, this was just full of squash. But then I had like a pretty brutal attack from the vine borers, and a lot of my squash were affected. I ended up pulling a lot of them, so I'm gonna replant some things, but I'll show you what's left. So starting in this bed, I have these beautiful sunflowers that are they're about to fall over. They got really top heavy, and I've tried to support them. I don't know what to do about them. I need to get a sturdier stake to hold them up, but they are beautiful. They're so pretty. I love this variety. It's called Chocolat. Under the sunflowers, there is a zucchini there, and then I've got a watermelon trailing down here. I can't remember what variety. I think Jubilee maybe. I did have a lot more corn in here, but I've taken some out already because I harvested them and they were done. I need to harvest this one. This one's ready. All the little silks are dried up. So I'll probably harvest that later today, but these are gonna come out soon. Got more calendula. This is my ginger right here in a 10-gallon grow bag. It's looking really good. I've never grown ginger before, so I have no idea when to try to harvest it, but it's vibing right now. I've got another little watermelon over here that I just planted. This one is, oh no, this one's Jubilee. What's that one? Maybe Charleston Gray. And then over here, starting on the trellis, I've got a tomato. I tried to grow a tomato on the trellis this year. I've never done this before, but I think it's working extremely well. Honestly, I'm thinking maybe next year, I might just grow my tomatoes on this trellis. Like, I might just do that. And I may have to grow my squash elsewhere because this tomato is just doing so good on the trellis. This variety is called Barry's Crazy Cherry. Really good variety. I like it a lot. It puts out a lot of cherry tomatoes. And then down here, I've got a pumpkin that is slowly dying. It got hit by the borers, but what I'm waiting for is this. I'm waiting for this pumpkin to ripen so that I can at least harvest the pumpkin and get one pumpkin out of it before it kicks the bucket. And it's almost there. It's turning orange. It's turning more orange with every day. So I'm really excited for my one single pumpkin. And as you can see, I've also got some noodle beans over here on this trellis. I think I'm gonna plant some more of these for a second round for fall, just because I love them so much. So on this side, like I said, I have the noodle beans. And then this is sticking out like a sore thumb. This is my Trombetta Zucchini. So I really love this variety of zucchini. It is my favorite. It obviously grows massive and it's so hard to eat all of them, but I feel like it's just one of those squash where you get way more bang for your buck. Like this one zucchini is like 6 in 1. I need to harvest it so it doesn't get any longer. I already have 2 more of these in my house. 2 more of them. Actually, never mind, scratch that. I have 1 more. I gave one to my dad the other day. I was like, Dad, please take this zucchini. I can't eat this much zucchini. So yeah, I still have 1 that I haven't finished eating yet, but it is a beautiful zucchini, and also this variety is very resistant to the vine borers. I will grow this every single year for the rest of my life because it's the only zucchini I've ever grown that just says vine borers who, squash bugs what. Like, it's just not affected. It's not affected by anything, really. It's tough as nails. The taste is quite like other zucchini, although when it does get this size, it can become a little bit more tough. Like you kind of want to harvest it when it's about a foot long, right? So about a third of this is when you ideally want to harvest it. That's when it's the most tender, but the more you let it grow, the more tough it's going to get. And it can actually store as a winter squash as well, which is just another plus in my book. If you let it continue to grow and ripen on the vine, it will harden and you can store it as a winter squash, and it'll store for like 6 months or so. So it's just an all-around good variety to have. Another one I have here is this spaghetti squash, which I thought that this was a goner because the stem is totally busted up from vine borers, but somehow it's still kicking and it's still putting out fruit. So yeah, spaghetti squash. It also has powdery mildew because of all the rain. Everything here has powdery mildew right now because it is just, when I say it's rained nonstop for 5 days, I mean it, like flooding kind of rains. This used to be my Caserta Zucchini. Yep. This is my big, beautiful anise hyssop plant. Bees swarm this thing. They love it. I planted it next to my squash trellis on purpose because I want to draw bees to the squash, to pollinate the squash for me so that I don't have to worry about it. So if you're looking for a plant that the bees flock to, it's this. And it's medicinal. It makes an amazing tea, like so amazing. I have a video on my TikTok of me drying it and making tea from it. It's so good. It's delicious. Over here I have another squash that I planted there, and it's kind of like trailing out. This is a weird squash. I planted this as lemon squash, but it's not lemon squash. I don't know what it is. But it's been resistant to the borers too, but not the powdery mildew. Nothing's resistant to the powdery mildew in the south. I've got my big rosemary bush here. I did have more squash here that died from the vine borers. It's looking really sad in here. I'm gonna have to plant something else here for the fall. I did plant a little pumpkin here, but it also looks like it's not doing very good. I don't know what's wrong with it. So as I was saying, this part of the yard is not finished yet, so we still have to landscape fabric and mulch this part. And I just cleaned out all of this, and I'm gonna turn this into a garden bed. I did just plant wildflowers here, but I was like, I don't know, like I really want to make this space a good space to plant edibles. So I'm going to be working this fall to kind of amend the soil and make it better and try to make it somewhere that I can plant edibles next year. This is my beautiful little fig tree. As you can see, she is just chock full of figs. Chock full of them. I love this fig tree so much. The variety is called Nectarine. It's a French variety, and yeah, it's doing really well. Over here I have my little mushroom patch. So this straw bed is where I planted my wine cap mycelium. They aren't popping up yet. It says it takes anywhere from 2 to 11 months. I need to really weed all of that out and get all of that out of there so it doesn't go into the bed. I was planning on planting oyster mushroom mycelium in that one. So here is the greenhouse. I have some different flowers planted over here. We've got Coreopsis, calendula, nigella, common mallow, got a hollyhock, Mexican sage bush, and more hyssop, and there's a poppy right there. I even planted a little pumpkin seed over here to see if it would do anything. It sprouted, but I don't think it gets enough light back here. Here's my gorgeous banana tree. I love her so much. And over here I have my guava tree. I'm so excited about this guava tree. You guys don't even understand. I love guavas, and here in 7B we can't have guavas in the ground, obviously, because it gets too cold here. But I do have it in a grow bag, and it lives in the greenhouse in the winter. The greenhouse is really messy right now, that's why I have it shut. I'm not ready to show you guys that side of me yet, but look at all the guavas on this tree. There's so many. They're getting so big. Every day they get bigger and bigger. I'm really excited for these. This here is my Caracara orange tree. It's doing well. It hasn't flowered yet, but you know, that's not important. it needs to work on its roots. And this back here is a mess. This back here is like pretty much an untouched part of the yard. Like I said, we're slowly making our way and trying to fix it up, but it's a lot of work. It's a slow process. And when I say me, I mean me and my boyfriend. We live in this house together, and he helps me with like some of the stuff like the mulch and all of that. He doesn't garden. I do all the gardening by myself, but he does help out with like, you know, some of the hard labor of it all. So this situation, I planted native wildflower seeds beside the greenhouse last year. Yeah, they have totally just overtaken everything. This is mainly blanket flower, which I love. I love it so much. It's very beautiful, but it's getting a little bit unruly for me. I need to come in here with like a weed whacker and just whack it all down, and it'll grow back, I'm sure. But I do have a little garden bed over here. This I call my junk garden bed because I just throw a bunch of things in here. I throw like, you know, when you start your seedlings and you have some left over because you had started extra just in case one of them died, so you end up with a lot left over. This is what I do with all of those. So I call it my junk garden bed just because it's like essentially full of junk. I've got some basil in here. There's a bunch of peppers. There's jalapenos. I think all three of these are jalapenos. There's a havasu. There's some shishito. I have a random pumpkin that I planted here. I think that's another random pumpkin. More peppers. There's actually a cantaloupe back there. Excited for that. There's a weed forest over here. This here is a Tidy Treats, I think is what it's called. Tidy Treats cherry tomato. It's a really compact cherry tomato. It's really good, delicious. There's a dill over here that's gone to flower. Another pepper. There's a cucumber. I need to get that. I think this is another pumpkin or something. No. Oh my god. I just found a hornworm. Oh my god, I can't even, I'm so freaked out I can't even talk. Oh, I hate these. This is the first one I've seen all season. No. You know how I knew how to look? You see that? That's hornworm poop right there. So I knew he was around. I look up and he's right there. Some people think that these guys are cute. I think they're gross. I don't like them. Look at all that he's eaten. Do you see how those branches are leafless? Yeah, that's what hornworms do. Okay, so yeah, over here is weeds, but then I do have this garden bed back here. This has my milkweed in it. I tried to turn this into like a pollinator garden. So there's milkweed, there's blanket flower. I planted some new things this year, like Coreopsis, yarrow. There's lavender, there's echinacea coneflower. All right, so coming back over here, I hate how much the walkways are washed out. Anyways, we have the fire pit here. It's also washed out. You see all the mulch that was like washed in there. I hate that. But I love the fire pit. I'm just gonna walk back over here because I didn't show you my hummingbird garden. So over here we have this weird little like corner in our house. Like here's the sunroom, and then there's like the add-on that was the laundry room. But anyways, I planted this beautiful sunflower here. I think this is like one of the Sunfinity sunflowers. I got it from my garden center. It's so pretty. I love how many blooms there are, and the birds really like coming and getting the seeds out. This is random, but I also have a eucalyptus planted right here. Such a random spot, but hey, it's doing great there. And over here, this is my little hummingbird kind of garden that I made. So I planted some lantana, some zinnias there, some kind of daisy. There's a butterfly bush in the middle there that's kind of getting taken over by the zinnia, and it's dying. Sad. But I have the giant white zinnia. I love this zinnia. It's huge. It's probably going to take over this entire area eventually, honestly. I need to get in here and prune it. And then there's some salvia back here, and then that's calendula, but it kind of is all dried up, like it's going to seed like the rest of my calendula are doing. Yeah, my hummingbirds love it over here. I love watching them drink. They especially love the lantana, and they love the zinnia right here. They love that. They are all over flocked on this zinnia every morning. And I just recently found out that this red hummingbird stuff that they sell for hummingbirds is actually terrible for them. So I'm gonna have to take this down and fill it with just regular sugar water is what I've been advised, like just mix regular sugar and water. I don't know, I'm gonna have to research more. Look at my pathways. They all got flooded and now they look like poop, but it's fine. So walking over here, I have this covered thing that I got from Costco a couple years ago. Wow, look at this weed that is coming out of here. Holy moly. Get this gone. Oh my gosh. How did I miss that? Like, how did I let this grow this big? This is everything I just pulled out. Like, how did I not notice that that was there? Anyways, this is my little cupboard thing. I got this from Costco about 2 years ago, but this is where I have my strawberries planted. It's a little hot for them to be producing strawberries right now. They're growing beautiful leaves though, and there's like a couple of strawberries that are trying to come in, but for the most part, they've slowed down a lot. Here's our little shed with some zinnias that I planted on each side of it. Oh my gosh, is it starting to rain? Oh, it's starting to rain. Okay, over here is our little patio area. We've got the grill and we've got a table with some chairs. Over here I've got some miscellaneous things. So I've got my dragon fruit, I've got my raspberries, which they're doing like a second little flush of berries right now. So I'm excited for those. I've got a little olive tree right there. I have a fig tree that is struggling in the heat. And also my pomegranate is really struggling in the heat as well. And then I've got some blueberry bushes that are also really struggling in the heat. Over here I have a peach tree. I took all the fruit off of this one because it's its first year. This is my nectarine tree. I actually just harvested some fruit from this one and it's got one left. So I'm just kind of waiting on this one to become ripe. Oh, you know what? It's ripe. Over here I've got some just miscellaneous stuff. There's a rose bush. There's some jasmine. None of this is flowering right now. There's catmint, gardenia, I think. Some foxglove that's also not flowering right now. And then over here I've got some caladiums and a colocasia. This is huge. This is my favorite. I love this. I love that I planted this year because I love tropicals so much. They're beautiful. Tropicals were my first love. They were the first plants I ever got into and I love them so much. And speaking of tropicals, this is the sunroom. This is where I keep my indoor tropicals. I have other videos on my channel for those if you want to check them out. So yeah, that was the garden. Thank you so much for coming along with me on a little tour. It was really fun. I'm gonna try to find some time to post more gardening videos, so let me know what you would want to see from me. But in the meantime, for shorter content, check out my TikTok and my Instagram. And that's it. See you next time. Happy gardening. Bye!